Yes. Okay, I can see. Yes. Okay. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Power Platform August 2021 first meetup for Kolkata chapter powered by D365 Champs community. I'm Sagar Rupani. I'm moderating this session along with the Ankush Grover. Hope you all are doing well and keeping fit. Yes. For today's, let's move ahead for today's agenda. Here we will share who we are and how you can connect with us. We will share some updates from the Microsoft, also from our community. And yes, at not most awaited thing from Shalinee Goel that she is going to tell us something good about Power Automate and with the topic called Get Moving with the Power Automate. And at the last, we will have a special Q&A session where you can ask your questions, answers, and you will get some answers from the our lead community lead and also from Shalinee. Uh, let's talk about the brief timeline for our from our Champs community. Like in 2018, community leads realized that they need a local community in Southeast Asia. So they established this community, and you can say this is the birth of this community. In 2019, 10 leads teamed up with the first chapter in Singapore, and number of leads grew, and Champs went global with expansion in more countries. In 2020, it was very tough years for all of us, but for our community members and leads started growing in Singapore, Malaysia, Australia, UK, and other countries. Today in 2021, today we have LinkedIn following of 6,000 and Kaizala membership of 950. And in future, we are coming with the so many new initiatives, which you can see in our LinkedIn page and also on other social platforms. Here we are talking about the social medias, like we are available on LinkedIn, Twitter, Kaizala, and also we have our special portal where you can utilize that portal for your queries. You can submit your blogs and other things. For this social media platforms, I'll post these links in between the session, so you can join from that link. Apart from that, if you want to speak in our upcoming meetups, then you can submit your session in the below link. Like I'll also post this link into the chat window meanwhile this session. Now I would like to hand over this session to my co-organizer, Ankush Grover. Ankush, over to you.
Everyone. Thank you, Saga, for this. So I'll just quickly update about the quick things which we have seen. Some of the news: Power Platform and Dataverse admins can now manage their application users, security roles, and teams in the environment setting on the admin center. Power BI product team has introduced new component which lets you easily embed your Power BI reports, dashboards, and more into the Angular web application. And the recent update about D365 Champs, we have another achieved the milestone. We have crossed 6K members in our LinkedIn family. Next slide, Saga. Thank you so much, our sponsor Dynamicity, like who have been helping since long. Thank you so much. And before I hand over this session to Shalini, I would like to mention that if you have any questions, please free to drop in the chat window and we'll take that either during the session, if possible, or during the Q&A time. Thank you again for joining and enjoy the session.
Thank you, Ankush, for that introduction. So yes, let's get started. Get moving with Power Automate. A little about myself. I'm Shalinee Goel. I have 4 years of experience in Power Platform and Dynamics 365. I'm a blogger. You can find my blogs at powermelange.shalini.in. I have written around 30 blogs as of now. I'm the Superstar Champ Awardee for Q4 2020. At D365 Champs, I'm the organizer, a part of the creative master, and a community lead. So coming from the organizing committee to speaking today, it has been a great experience. Also, I'm a dancer and a foodie. So, are you new to Power Automate? I may have an audience who are learning Power Automate for the very first time, or I may also have some audience where they have joined in to learn something new about it. So yes, I have content for both of you. What I'll do today is initially I'll give an overview of what is Power Automate. I'll tell you about the types of Power Automate flows, templates in Power Automate. Then we'll deal with the business scenario, followed by the power tip of the day, and at last, I have a surprise for you. So what is Power Automate? Power Automate is a service that helps you build workflows that automate time-consuming business tasks and processes. It's one of the pillars of Power Platform and is completely asynchronous. So types of flows. There are three types of flows: cloud flows, business process flows, and desktop flows. In this particular session, I'll deal with cloud flows. Cloud flows are basically of three types: automated cloud flow, instant cloud flow, and scheduled cloud flow. Automated cloud flow is a flow which a trigger, if it happens, this flow will automatically run. Instant cloud flow, as the name suggests, can be triggered manually at that instant. Scheduled cloud flows are recurrence flows, which can be like these flows can run on a daily, weekly, or a monthly basis as you configure it. So we'll move to the next slide. So let's check out the start page. On the start page of Power Platform, this Power Automate, you can explore a diverse set of templates and learn about the key features of Power Automate. You can get a quick sense of what's possible and how Power Automate could help your business and life. So take care of what's important and automate the rest. So each template, as I said, is designed for a specific purpose. For example, if you want to use a template for email, you can search using keywords. You can just type in email and all relevant templates will be shown to you. But let me tell you, these templates are just the tip of the iceberg. They're intended to inspire you to create customized flows for the exact processes you and your clients need. You can choose from the most popular services and gain a competitive advantage by linking all your data at one place and getting insights. So we have both standard and premium connectors. You can just connect to them and do your task. So as I said, what triggers are, you can think of triggers as the starting action for the flow, and what the result follows is called the action. So when you sign into Power Automate, you'll find these menus on the left-hand side. You can find the action items, flows. Then the best part is monitor. So you can monitor all your desktop flows in just one location. I'll move to the Power Automate and then I'll show you these options there. So you can type in flow.microsoft.com and it will take you to your sign-in page. For me, it was already signed in and hence this page will open up. You can see the home button, the action items button over here. You can deal with approvals and business process flows. For my flows, whatever flows you have created will come over here. As I said, there are cloud flows, desktop flows, and business process flows. In cloud flows, if you want to try, there are automated cloud flows, instant cloud flows, and scheduled cloud flows. So we are dealing with an instant cloud flow today. And let me tell you, these are residing out of your solution in case you want these in your solution. So you can navigate over here and create a solution for cloud flows and then move all your flows there. So let's get going. This particular demo, I'll give you the business scenario. This says that there is this particular Excel which may have a lot of data. Currently, I have just 7 rows of data here, but it can have like 5,000, 10,000 rows of data, and I have to migrate everything into Dataverse. So using the out of the box feature, which is available in data management under imports, we can import all the things into one particular table. And that also, if like in a single row, we are having three, like over here, you can see there are 3 courses. So we'll not be able to use the out of the box functionality, but using Power Automate, it is made easier. In Power Automate, we can actually import the same data from the Excel into any number of tables we want. And we can actually give checks and everything in Power Automate, and the entire this Excel sheet would be transformed into Power Automate. So what our business scenario suggests is that member ID in their case is a unique identifier for the contact. It tells you which member ID belongs to which contact. So for a particular member ID, what certifications he or she has done, the information is given in this particular Excel, and I have to map it into Dataverse. Like say for member M001, he has done 3 certifications, 1, 2, and 3. Whereas for member M002, he has done only 2 certifications, certification 1 and certification 2, with all other details like the expiry date and the grade he has got. So yes, let's get going and I'll tell you how I've created this flow. So as you can see, it's a manually trigger a flow. I have initialized variable for course 1, course 2, course 3. As you can see, these are array variables, and I am having the concept where I am actually transforming this particular Excel sheet from this format. I'm converting it to rows. Like I'll have all this data in my course 1, all this data in course 2, and these data in course 3. So how is that possible? What I'm doing is I'm listing all rows present in a table. So this particular Excel sheet is present in my OneDrive for Business. I'm giving the file path. Everyone should note over here that this is a table format. I have formatted it as a table, and it is a requirement, because if you don't format it as a table, you won't get this option over here and you'll be left wondering why is it not coming up. So you should format it as a table. We should go to show advanced options because we have date time field. There's out of the box feature which has come of date time format, and you can choose it as ISO 8601. What this does is that it will help you transform the date time field, and you don't have to write any other formula. It will just do it out of the box. So what I'm doing is I'm listing all rows. Then I'm applying a for loop to each. As like for each row, this will iterate through each row and like it gets the value from the previous step. Then what I'm doing is I'm checking for course 1. Like if this member ID is not blank and if the certificate number 1 is not blank, then I'm appending everything to the course 1 data. Please note I'm appending it and not updating it. Updating it would mean you will get the last value which it has accessed. Appending it means it will get all the rows of data for course 1. As you can see, this is a JSON, and I have applied for each row. I'm getting the member ID, the certificate number 1, expiry date 1, and grade 1. Similarly, I'm doing it for course 2. In that case, I am checking with certificate number 2. And over here in the apply course data, I am taking all the certificate number 2, expiry date 2, and grade 2. Similarly is happening for course 3. I'm following the same steps. So now what is happening? My entire source of data, it has shifted from the list rows of Excel to my 3 variables, course 1, course 2, and course 3. Now I'm taking course 1 and I'm composing it. Composing it is basically like saving that particular array, and I'm applying to each in one for all the rows I have got in course 1, and I'm finding the matching contact it is having. So what it is doing actually is in contacts, I have a field called PM_member ID, and I'm equating it with the member ID of from the Excel sheet. Also, there is a good option over here. When I click on these 3 options, there is a thing which comes as add a note. So when I click on add a note, you can actually write these formulas over here. So basically this formula says that items applied to each. This basically would mean the current item in this particular iteration and which in particular field I want to access. I want to access member ID, hence this is coming up, this member ID. So I'm listing this particular contact. Then I'm doing apply to each for the value I have got, and then I'm adding a new row, certificates. Now this is very interesting. I have chosen for this demo various kinds of data types so as to what will be uploaded. So firstly, I take single line of text, which is the certificate number. So for this, you can basically do items applied to each question mark certificate number, as we did for member ID in the previous step. Then for the expiry date, we can do items applied to each expiry date. This the ISO is handling. We have already made that setting earlier. For course types, for data types like option sets or 2 options, you can simply choose a drop down arrow and choose the number. For grade, this is a whole number field in our dataverse. So what we are doing is we are doing the same steps, items applied to each grade, but we are converting again everything into integer. So this particular thing is coming like this formula, like we are doing items applied to each grade, and on top of that, we are converting everything into integer. The dicey part which comes is in setting the lookup. So the formula for setting the lookup is you have to give the plural name of that entity for the lookup which you have to send. In our case, it is contacts. And then within brackets, you have to send the GUID. So as soon as you send the GUID over here, the lookup field would be set. Similarly, I have done for course 2 and course 3. I'll just show you around. I've applied the same steps which I did. First, I have matched it with the contact. Then I have matched it with the corresponding certificates, and I have appended the same. To course 3, we have done the same steps, and yes, now we are ready to go. I'll just quickly save this flow. So yes, let's quickly run this flow. We'll go on test, and we'll go manually. We'll save and test. And we'll click on run the flow. So it says your flow is running, and actually you can over here, you can find out that how many seconds have each step taken and which step is not, which step has faulty errors. It will show a red mark over here. And yes, let's wait for the entire flow to run. So as you can see, your flow has run successfully. Let's go to this, refresh. Now you can see there are 15 records, 6, 5, and 4 for course types 1, 2, and 3 respectively. Let's go to Shalinee Goel, and then we'll see all the associated certificates for that particular record. We'll go to related, we'll go to certificates, and as you can see, Shalinee Goel has done certificates 1, 2, and 3. And you can see the certificate number, the expiry date, and the grade against it. Everything has beautifully transformed from that particular Excel. Let me come back to this Excel, and I'll let you know of one thing. So basically, what you can do is over here, if you have a lot of rows, you can go to settings, and then you can switch on the paginations and give the threshold of 5,000 each. So that would be really helpful in case you have large chunks of data. Also, if you want to see your flows, which I just run, so over here, you can see, and also there are some cases where you actually cannot find so as to which dynamic value to take. So in those cases, what you can do is, this is again a shortcut tip which I can give you. When you're listing matching contacts, just suppose, so you can see the raw outputs over here, and actually whatever data you want, you can just like take it from here. Like suppose if you want the merged value or anything, you don't have to find any OData value. If it's not coming out dynamically, again, you can actually go ahead and write a code. You can write the, like the output of this step, and then you can do a body /value / whatever you want. So you can actually refer back to the first step. You can run till that step, and then you can check what outputs you are getting and which value you exactly want, and then you can move forward. So yes, let's get back to our business scenario, and yes, let's get back to our slide. So what happened earlier is, what used to happen earlier is, like there was no ISO thing. So we, whenever we added a date time field, it used to give us an integer value, which was basically the number of days calculated since the end of 1899. So what you used to do is, we used to convert that date into an integer, which is the number of days since the end of 1899, and we have to add that number of days to the original date to get that particular date, and we in the required format we want. For adding minutes, we did the same. It was a float thing which came, so you multiplied it with 1440, which is basically the conversion into minutes, and then we added this minutes into from that particular date into the desired format. The great part is you don't have to do anything like that right now. So takeaways from this session is do rename your steps and give it a proper relatable name, and do add the formulas in the notes. The next thing which I like to tell you is ticks. So every date and time can be represented in ticks and can be converted from ticks to a useful unit of measurements. It is a useful way to calculate the date difference. So as developers, we always have to calculate the date difference, time difference between two date times. So this particular ticks helps you. It returns the number of ticks which are 100 nanosecond intervals since January 1. So basically what I have to do is I have to convert this date 1 into ticks, date 2 into ticks, then I'll subtract these two things. So I'll have the number of ticks in between these two, and then I'm going to divide this with this humongous number. So what it really is, well, here's the maths. So we have 24 hours into 60 minutes into 60 seconds. And then we are converting everything to 10 to the power 9 because it's a nano, but given that it's a 100 nano interval, we are again dividing it by this 100 to the power 2. Thus, we divide the entire expression of these ticks with this to get the result back in days. If you want to get the result back in minutes, you can remove the 24 and you can just divide it with this particular number. So yes, the power tip of the day. So today's power tip of the day would be, I have another flow, and this is one of my recent findings which I found out. So in Power Automate, we are not having regex checking or anything. So I had a scenario where I had to see if there is any special like character present in my mobile number. These numbers can be like I have just initialized a variable here, but these numbers can be taken as an input from data was maybe say in contact or stuff. And then what I'm doing is initially I've initialized a flag boolean. I'm given a default value as true. I'm composing this particular mobile number as an integer. So if in case it's just a number with no special characters, it will convert. But in case it has a special character, this step will not execute. It will throw an error. And that is what I'll utilize in Power Automate. There's a particular feature in Power Automate saying configure run after. So when I do configure run after, I can say that this particular step will execute if the previous step has either success or has failed or is skipped or has timed out. So I have done, if this particular step fails, it can only fail in one scenario where we are not giving a proper integer to that. You can obviously do the length check and everything along with this, but this I'm just checking for the special character. So I have done that. If the previous step fails, what it will do is it will convert the flag to false. And this is the compose. I've done a compose on the flag that finally we'll see whether it is true or false. So yes, let's get going and we'll check it for a proper number now. So as you can see, this is a proper number. We should get the flag as true only. So let's test this. So it says that my flow ran successfully, and as you can see, this step was not executed and the final result is true. That means the mobile number doesn't have any special character. Let me edit it and then put a special character over here. I'll quickly save it. Then I'll go to test. I'll do manually. I'll do a test run. I'll go to run flow. And yes, let's see. See, this step shown an error, and this particular step has been executed now, and it says it converts the integer to false, and the final outcome which we see is false. After this, you can put conditions whether this particular flag is true or false, and you can move ahead in your flow, maybe giving some error on the screen or any response which you want. So yes, this is one of the findings which I had. Next would be the quiz time. As I said, I have a tiny surprise for you at the end. So please type your answers in the chat box. And yes, here are the questions. So the first question for the day is, can Power Automate read pre and post values of a field? I'll just check whatever is your reply in the chat box.
Guys, you can answer it in the chat box. No answers yet?
Okay, Avinash is saying that yes, it can.
This is there, not directly. So, no. Any other answers?
Great. So we have to use variables, I guess. So not read directly pre and post values, because as I mentioned, these works on triggers. So once the trigger has already happened, the pre value of the field, it's not loaded like we can do in plugins. We can see the pre and post image, but over here we cannot do that. In these cases, you have to store the last field values, maybe in one of, you have to make additional fields for that, and then you can note it down. Question 2, if you switch off a recurrence flow and then you switch it on, all unprocessed and pending events are processed. Is this statement true or false? You can like just type in your chat window.
Yes. There are 3 answers among them. Yeah, people have started.
Right. So most of the answers are true. So yes, if you switch off a recurrence flow and then you switch it on, so all the pending events flow, they will all be processed. And in case you want them not to be processed, you have to make a copy of it and you have to delete your original flow. So that is the way it works. Next question is, how many cloud flows can we have associated with one connection reference?
You might need to provide at least 4 options.
I can say it's below 20.
We got one answer from Deepesh, Karan, Harshal, and Prasant. Deepesh said 16, Harshal said 14, Venkata 1 to 10. This is not fair, Venkata. It's like 10, 10 multiple choices.
So yes, the page got it on bullseye, and even Avinash. So yes, 60 there can be at max 16 flows connected to one connection reference. And if you want to use the same connector, you have to create another connection reference. So you can try that out. So the next question is, Power Automate supports email addresses that end with .government and .mil. Is it true or false?
No. Come on, guys. At least give us what true or false, whether you know, do you know or not. At least you will get some answer from Shalinee that whether this is true or false. San said no idea. Even I don't have any idea.
So yes, Power Automate, as of now, they don't support .gov and .mil email IDs. So yes, it's false.
This is really insightful. Like many people like me really don't know about this particular thing.
Okay, so the last question, and I feel the most easiest of all, the free trial of Power Automate lasts up to 30 days, 60 days, or 90 days. Okay, Karan is saying 30 days. Even Ankush.
Yes, we placed 30 and said excellent.
We still need to learn a lot, Shalini. I think.
Yes.
So yes, the free trial of Power Automate, it lasts up to 90 days. 30 days is just for Power Apps. So yes, we have come almost to the end of the session. So please do create a Power Automate trial. I am very sure demo gods would be with you. The trial would not become like what it did to me, but yes. So a quick fact that Power Automate is available in 42 languages and 6 regions. You can follow me on social media. You can connect with me. You can follow my blog and on LinkedIn and Twitter. Lastly, I want to especially thank my mentor, Dipesh Somani. I just I heard all of your stories, though I was not in sync, but like I was hearing it, all your stories. I heard Sagar, like starting from Sagar's story to everyone's. So I like my journey when I started with Dynamics, I really didn't like it so much. But as I read blogs from the page and I like became a part of Dynamics 365 Champs family, that's when I went deep dive into this like particular platform and I started loving it for the very first time. It gave me it was a point of interest that I want to learn more and I want to like explore more. It's when I started my blogging also. So yes, thank you, Dipesh. Like I'll say it again and again, and I owe a lot of my learnings to you. The fact that like Microsoft Dynamics 365 itself, like it became interesting because initially I started my career with this only, but I didn't had like so much of an interest, but like reading your blogs and the way you mentor people, that was one of the points that like it made me ki, okay, I want to explore. So yes, thank you so much for that. And yes, thank you all. I know today has been not a great session because we had a lot of glitches, but nonetheless, I hope I'll be seeing you sometime else with a different session or different business scenario. Till then, yes, take care and happy Independence Day.
Thank you, Shalini. It was really great experience with you. Like you are presenting first time, and it happens like there are some technical glitches may lay you down, but don't worry. Go ahead. We want more sessions like this in the future. Like for me also, I was bit in a dilemma for my first session, but now I'm very much confident about this. So really, it was really good experience with you. Like yeah, there were theory also as well. You just showed us a particular scenario over a Power Automate, which can definitely help you. And at the end, that questionnaire is really googly. Like people, even I'm very I can say that I'm doing so many things in Power Automate, but I was not aware about 2 or 3 questions, which is really like I think that I also learned so many things regarding the Power Automate. So yes, Ankush, would you like to share closing note or any other like deepest?
A great session, Shalini, to be honest. I'm just still learning, or about to start my learning for the Power Automate. So maybe this will be the stepping stone for my knowledge. Thank you so much. And any other questions from the team members? For all the participants who have joined?
Yeah, actually, I do have a question about that configure run after we were not able to see, but is it like just like we had? Yeah, I do have questions. It's like I can have questions. I do sometimes go back when I cannot deep dive into everything nowadays, right? So if we wanted to do some other validations, is that a possibility also using a similar mechanism, or is there an ability for us to build our own kinds of connectors for this kinds of scenarios, right? Like, can I trigger something on my own in an explicit way which can achieve it? For example, if I take an example from US, if I want to do a social security number validation from some APIs that are coming in, is it a possibility? Can you throw some light on that, Shalinee, if you've done something similar?
Yes, we can always create a custom connector over where we'll be doing the regex checking. And I feel custom connectors, Sagar only, we had the session from Sagar. So yes, we can always use custom connectors. But in case our requirement is such, like in one of my recent projects, we just had to check whether the phone number contains numbers or not. So for those kinds of things, we can just use it. Like if a string function is possible, And if we are very sure of the outcomes, then we can use configure run afters in our own flows. Otherwise, we can create custom connectors.
All right, thank you, and thanks for your kindness to share a slide for me at the end. I'm still trying to just absorb it. I don't really have any. Thanks for your kindness. I think everybody is supporting each other. That's all I will say. I get support from everybody. So Preeti is not with us today, for example, and if there is something to do with portals, I'll ring few of those people, right? If I want a quick answer. And that's also very important in a way because the way platform is expanding. Prashant is here, Roma is here, I think Vivek is here, you guys are here. You know the way platform is expanding. Today you will hear about omnichannel. I think Karan is also here. Today you would be doing omnichannel, and tomorrow you might have to do Power Virtual Agent. Third time on in a project requirement, you might be ending up doing dynamics with the new Sales Insight feature. By the time I have already covered with few of our customers about sales insights in wave 1, we already have wave 2 coming. They are having preview on, automatically being the having some discussions with Microsoft. So you are always in a zone where you also sometimes are like, okay, where did this link button and where did this UI got changed? So it's very important that we keep learning, and as a group we share this information, and it's going to be key for the coming 3 years at least, as long as this product is going to be on a very aggressive curve. It's still going to continue. So thanks for sharing some of the new learnings, and that gives us ideas. And thanks to organizers Sagar and Ankush. If people have any question, just like Sagar and Ankush were asking over to you guys, you can unmute yourself and ask your question, or we are almost 17 minutes over, right? So, or we can stop the recording and continue a bit for 5 minutes.
Okay, so I'll quickly go and stop the recording if no one has to say anything. Is that fine, Vikesh and organizers?
Stop the recording.
Yes.
Yeah, we can.